Adapt or decline. Why flexibility is your greatest strength after 60. Senior health. After 60, who will truly be there for you? We all grew up believing that family would always be our safety net, but life after 60 reveals a different truth. Priorities shift, loved ones get busy, and sometimes the support you counted on starts to fade. It's not because they don't love you, it's because life happens. So what if I told you that there are 6 powerful pillars that can give you more strength, more stability, and more peace of mind than even your closest family? In this video, we're going to explore the real foundations that will carry you through this stage of life, with dignity, independence, and purpose. Stay with me until the end, because what you discover today may completely change the way you see aging, support, and your own strength. Number 1, financial stability. When it comes to real support after 60, nothing is more reliable than your own financial stability. It doesn't matter how much your children love you or how close your family is. Depending on them for money is a risk, not a plan. Life gets expensive, and everyone is fighting their own financial battles. Your kids might be paying mortgages, raising children, or dealing with unexpected costs themselves. Even if they want to help, they might not be able to. That's why the first and most critical pillar of support is building a solid financial foundation for yourself. Now, not later. Take the story of Richard. At 72, he had always believed his children would step in if things went wrong. He'd paid for their education, lent money when they needed it, and always put their needs before his own. But when a sudden medical emergency drained his savings, he turned to his kids for help and realized they were barely keeping their own lives together. Not out of neglect, but out of necessity. That moment woke him up. Financial independence is not about being rich, it's about being prepared. It's about having a backup plan, knowing where your money is going, and never having to feel ashamed or anxious about asking for help. Ask yourself, do you have enough saved to handle an unexpected health issue? Is your retirement income secure and well managed? Have you eliminated unnecessary debts that could weigh you down? If the answer is no, it's time to make changes. Learn how to budget realistically. Stop spending on things that don't bring real value. Start building an emergency fund, no matter how small. Every bit of financial control you take back today will buy you more freedom tomorrow. Consider investing in income-generating assets, downsizing your lifestyle, or speaking with a financial advisor who specializes in retirement planning. These are not luxury steps. They are survival strategies, and the sooner you act, the stronger you'll feel. Because the truth is, money doesn't just buy things. It buys peace of mind. It buys the ability to make your own choices, to say yes or no on your terms, and to face life's uncertainties without fear. Your financial foundation is your safety net, your freedom, and your power. Don't wait until it's too late to realize that. You deserve to feel secure in this stage of life, and only you can make that happen. Start today, not next year, not when things get worse. Today. Because at the end of the day, no matter how much love surrounds you, your bank account, not your relatives, will decide whether you stand on solid ground or feel trapped in uncertainty. Number 2, physical health. Your body is either your greatest asset or your biggest burden after 60. It's that simple. No amount of love from family or financial support can replace your own physical strength. Once your health starts to decline, your independence disappears. You can't travel freely, do daily tasks with ease, or even enjoy the small pleasures in life without energy and mobility. And here's the hard truth. No one else can take care of your body for you. Not your spouse, not your children. They can offer encouragement, but they can't eat nutritious meals for you. They can't walk in your place. They can't go to your doctor appointments. That responsibility is yours, and if you ignore it, the consequences will come faster than you think. Carl, a 68-year-old retiree, thought he had plenty of time to get back into shape. He stopped exercising, ate without thinking, and convinced himself that his body would bounce back later. But later never came. His energy dropped. His knees hurt. He couldn't climb stairs without breathing heavily. His life shrank. His kids visited when they could, but they couldn't be his caregivers. He felt stuck, and it all started with ignoring his health. Don't wait until things fall apart. Take control now. Move your body every day. Walk, stretch, swim, do something. You don't need to run marathons. You just need consistency. If you've been sitting too long, start with 10 minutes a day and build from there. Next, take a hard look at your food. Are you feeding your body fuel or slowly draining it? Cut the junk, reduce sugar, add more greens, more protein, more water. Pay attention to aches, pains, and warning signs. That discomfort you're brushing off could be the early sign of something serious. Get regular checkups. Don't skip screenings or ignore test results. Prevention is cheaper and easier than treatment. If you've been diagnosed with a condition, don't just rely on pills. Ask what lifestyle changes can help. Be proactive, not passive. Remember, the goal isn't to live forever. The goal is to live well for as long as possible, to wake up with energy, to move without fear, to not feel like a burden. Your health affects every part of your life, your freedom, your happiness, your ability to enjoy the people you love. You cannot outsource your health. It's in your hands. And every smart decision you make today adds up to a better tomorrow. So if you're sitting there thinking it's too late, it's not. Start now. Walk around the block. Choose a salad. Book that checkup. Because at the end of the day, your strongest support system isn't your children or your doctors. It's your own body if you take care of it. Don't let it become the thing that holds you back. Make it your ally starting today. Number 3, social network. Loneliness is one of the most dangerous things you can face after 60, and it often creeps in silently. Friends move away, loved ones pass on. Your world slowly becomes smaller, and before you realize it, you're spending more time alone than ever before. You might think your family will always be there to keep you company, but that's not how life works. Your children have careers, children of their own, endless responsibilities. Even if they love you, they can't be your only source of companionship. That's why your social circle is one of the most critical support pillars you must build and protect. Human connection isn't a luxury, it's a biological need. Without it, your mental sharpness declines, your mood sinks, and even your physical health suffers. Margaret, a 73-year-old widow, learned this the hard way. She had 2 loving sons, but as the years passed, their weekend visits turned into monthly check-ins and sometimes just quick phone calls. She spent more and more time waiting for calls, visits, attention. Then one day she realized something had to change. She stopped waiting. She started joining local groups, called up old friends, picked up new hobbies like watercolor painting and Tai Chi. In less than a year, her life transformed. She wasn't just coping, she was thriving. You don't have to be outgoing or extroverted to build a healthy social life. All it takes is effort and consistency. Join a walking group, sign up for a class at the local community center, volunteer at a place that matters to you. Even a short chat with a neighbor can make your day better. Social connection doesn't always mean deep friendships. It means people in your life who bring energy, laughter, conversation, and presence. Don't let pride or age keep you isolated. Don't wait for someone else to reach out. Be the one who initiates. That one call or message could open the door to a new friendship. Think of your social circle as a safety net, not just for emergencies, but for joy, for laughter, for emotional balance. It keeps you grounded and engaged in the world. Isolation, on the other hand, weakens everything, from your immune system to your sense of self. And no, social media is not a substitute for real connection. It's a tool, but it doesn't replace face-to-face smiles or shared experiences. So ask yourself honestly, when was the last time you made a new friend? Had a real conversation that made you feel seen? If your answer isn't recent, it's time to make a change. Because at the end of the day, life isn't meant to be lived in silence or solitude. The people around you, the ones you choose to bring into your life, can become a stronger support system than blood ever could. Build that circle now. Don't wait. Number 4, purpose of life. After 60, losing your sense of purpose can feel like losing your identity. You retire, The kids move out. The roles that once gave you meaning, parent, worker, caregiver, begin to fade. Suddenly, your days feel quiet, even empty. You start asking yourself, what now? This is where many people make the mistake of waiting for life to give them purpose again. But the truth is, no one is going to hand it to you. Not your children, not your partner, not society. If you want your life to feel full and meaningful, you have to create that meaning yourself. George, a 70-year-old former engineer, found himself in this exact situation. He was excited to retire at first, sleep in, relax, watch TV. But after a few months, the boredom set in. He felt restless, disconnected, unimportant. His family visited occasionally, but they couldn't fill the void. So he took a leap. He started volunteering at a local school, teaching kids how to build things. That small decision completely changed his life. He had structure again. He had people who looked forward to seeing him. He had a reason to wake up in the morning. That's what purpose does. It fuels your spirit. And it doesn't have to be big or dramatic. It can be gardening, mentoring, writing a book, learning an instrument, joining a cause you believe in, or simply setting personal goals. It's not about being busy. It's about doing something that reminds you that you still matter. Too many people assume that aging means fading away. But that only happens if you stop engaging with the world. The minute you stop setting goals or challenging yourself, your mind and body start to slow down. Purpose keeps you alive, not just physically, but emotionally. And no, purpose isn't just about productivity. It's about connection, creativity, growth. It's about doing something that lights you up inside, even if no one else understands it. Ask yourself, what makes me feel useful? What have I always wanted to try but never had the time for? What do I want to be remembered for? If those questions are hard to answer, don't worry. Just start with curiosity. Try something new. Explore. Give yourself permission to evolve, because your sense of purpose isn't something that disappears with age. It changes form. And the more you invest in it now, the less dependent you'll be on others to feel whole. You don't need your children to tell you you're valuable. You need to believe it yourself through your actions. So don't wait for someone to give you a reason to get up in the morning. Be your own reason. Find what makes your heart beat stronger and follow it. Because the most powerful kind of support is a life filled with meaning, and only you can create that. Number 5, emotional strength. No matter how much support you have from others, your emotional resilience will always be your most dependable anchor. After 60, life doesn't get easier. It just changes. You may lose people you love. You may face health scares, financial stress, or days when you feel invisible. And while friends and family can offer comfort, they can't carry your emotional weight for you. Everyone has their own struggles. They might not always be available, even if they care. That's why building inner strength is not optional. It's essential. Helen, a 75-year-old widow, learned this the hard way. After losing her husband of 40 years, she leaned on her children for comfort. At first, they checked in often, but as time passed, they got busier. Calls became shorter, visits less frequent. Helen realized that expecting others to heal her pain was only making her feel more alone. So she made a choice. She joined a grief support group. She began journaling every morning. She practiced daily gratitude, even on the hardest days. Slowly, something shifted. She discovered that the strength she was searching for had always been inside her. It just needed space to grow. That's what emotional resilience looks like. It's not pretending to be okay. It's acknowledging pain without letting it define you. It's having healthy ways to cope. Writing, talking, meditating, seeking therapy, or simply giving yourself time to feel and process. Emotional strength doesn't mean being fearless. It means moving forward despite fear. When you build that kind of resilience, you no longer need to rely on others to make you feel whole. You become your own source of peace. Life will throw things at you that you didn't expect. People will disappoint you. Situations will test your patience and break your heart. But if you've trained your mind to bounce back, you'll survive. And more than that, you'll thrive. Emotional resilience also protects your physical health. Studies show that people who can manage stress, grief and anxiety recover faster and live longer. It's not just about happiness, it's about survival. And it starts with how you talk to yourself. Do you lift yourself up when things go wrong, or do you fall apart? Do you dwell in regret, or do you look for lessons? The more you nurture your emotional well-being now, the more control you'll feel, no matter what comes next. So don't wait until a crisis forces you to be strong. Start building that strength today. Even 5 minutes a day spent in reflection, gratitude, or calming your nervous system makes a difference. Because at the end of the day, when no one else is around and the world feels heavy, you are the one who must carry yourself through it. And you can, if you choose to train your emotional muscles just like your physical ones. Strength from within will never abandon you. Number 6, adaptability. The ability to adapt is one of the greatest skills you can have after 60 because nothing stays the same. People change, routines shift. The things you used to rely on may no longer work, and the people you thought would always be there might not be able to. The difference between those who struggle in their later years and those who thrive comes down to one thing: adaptability. Those who resist change, who cling to the past, who say, "This is just how I am," often find themselves feeling stuck, frustrated, and left behind. Meanwhile, those who learn to adjust, stay curious, and stay open to new ways of living are the ones who keep growing, no matter their age. Take Frank, a 78-year-old man who had always valued in-person friendships. When many of his lifelong friends passed away or moved away, he started feeling isolated. At first, he told himself this was just what getting older looked like: quiet, lonely, still. But one day he decided to try something different. He asked his grandson to show him how to use video calls. He joined a history discussion group online. He even made new friends, people he had never met in person, but who gave him joy and connection. That shift didn't happen because life got easier. It happened because Frank chose to adapt. This is what adaptability looks like: trying new things even when they feel uncomfortable, learning new skills even if you're too old for that, being willing to admit that your current routine isn't working and having the courage to change it. It could mean moving to a smaller home, letting go of habits that no longer serve you, or finding new ways to stay connected when traditional ones fade. Adaptability isn't about giving up who you are. It's about evolving so that you can keep being the best version of yourself, regardless of the circumstances. The world is changing fast. Technology, healthcare, communication, everything is evolving. You can either resent it or embrace it. And the moment you choose to embrace it, you take back control. You stop being a passive observer of life and become an active participant again. Ask yourself, when was the last time you tried something new? When was the last time you updated a routine that no longer works? Have you allowed fear or pride to stop you from growing? If so, it's time to make a shift. Start small. Learn one new tool. Say yes to one unfamiliar activity. Say no to one outdated habit. Because the people who thrive in their 60s, 70s, and beyond aren't the ones who have perfect lives. They're the ones who bend, adjust, learn, and grow over and over again. Life will change. The question is, will you change with it? If the answer is yes, then no matter what happens, you'll always find a way to move forward.